specific school questions,
It's playing now. It's on today.
Oh, hold on one second. Okay, if you could just mute, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. If you have school-specific questions, please shoot us an email and we will make sure that we answer your school-specific questions over email. If you have questions that are for the good of the group, please put those in the chat. Otherwise, take a second and just silent solo read our 3 objectives today so you know what we'll be going over. All right, if there are any questions related to the objectives for our time together today, please go ahead and drop those in the chat. Otherwise, we are ready to get started. We're going to start off, as always, with some celebrations, and we have quite a few schools in our 100% club, so thank you. We know that you play a big part in achieving that success. The BTSP compliance report was emailed to all principals and mentor contacts on December 15th. So that was back in 2021, if you can remember that far back. So here are the schools that were in Central 1 and Central 2 that are at 100%. Schools that have a star by them also have really strong ratings on their mentor program plan. So if you want to look for those yellow stars, write down the names of those schools. They might be great people to partner with if you need some assistance on strengthening your mentor program plan, or if you just want to see a great example from somebody else's school that you can model after. So congratulations to all the Central 1 and 2 schools. Here are Northeast and Northwest schools that we're celebrating. If you did not receive a copy of our December report, if you have questions about your report, please make sure that you email Torianne, and she is a ninja in all things compliance, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Again, as we go through these, look for those stars, sorry. And last but not least, we have all the schools in the Southeast and the Southwest that are at 100% compliance. And this, again, report was sent out in December. And a copy of the compliance reminders is in your handout. So if you need to go over what was required of you compliance-wise through December 15th, take a peek at that compliance handout. But congratulations to all these schools. We know it's a lot of work on top of everything else. So thank you so much.
Our next compliance report is going to be pulled at the end of this month. So here are the upcoming evaluation due dates. Remember that anything not completed on time is required to have a record of activity in My Talent, and a link to both the evaluation timeline and the record of activity is included in your handout. And this is just a reminder that every 5 years, the state reviews our plans and processes in order to provide funding for our beginning teachers. And so our next monitoring is going to be next year, but it's going to be based on this year's data. So everything you're doing with your beginning teachers and mentors this year needs to be aligned to state board expectations and documented accurately in your mentor program plan. These are just a few of the observation reminders that we want to ensure as schools are adhering to. Anything that is not followed will either require the observation to be redone for the beginning teacher or a record of activity to be completed. So go ahead and take a screenshot of this slide and make sure that everyone on your administrative team is following these expectations. And then our next reminder is around peer observations. Those are due January 28th. So here are your peer observer reminders. First, the beginning teacher's mentor should not be the person doing their peer observation. Peer observers must be evaluated on the same timeline as the beginning teachers. So MCLs, facilitators, deans, master teachers, etc. should not be doing the peer observation for your beginning teachers. And then principals are responsible for assigning the peer observers in My Talent. And the link for doing that, the directions for doing that, is linked in the principal responsibility document, so if they need help. The second thing is that peer observers must be trained. They can either participate in an online training available in My Talent. They can watch a 10-minute screencast about the peer observation process. We've heard some great feedback from schools around using that during just doing a 10-minute meeting with their peer observers, making sure that everybody knew what was expected and could answer any questions real time before peer observations. Or you could facilitate a training for your peer observers as well. Options for the peer observation training are linked in your handout if you have any questions. And so the last thing that we're looking for, one of the questions that we've received from some schools, so we thought that we would get some input from you, is how do you show appreciation for your peer observers? So some of you have some super fantastic things in place, and some of you are looking for ideas for how to show your peer observers how much you appreciate them engaging in this additional leadership opportunity. So if you don't mind taking a moment, dropping in the chat either what you've already done to show your appreciation for your peer observers or something you're planning on doing. And it's okay if you haven't thought about this yet, because you're about to get some really great ideas.
Just a minute. Okay. Just a minute.
Oh, awesome. Some people have PTAs that get gift cards, lunch and recess coverage. Oh my gosh, yes. Pizza lunch, pizza. Everybody loves pizza, everybody, but that coverage is right up there. Sharpies, Susan Hooper, 14 colored Sharpies. That's no joke. That is my love language. Very good. Any other great ideas? A congratulations email to make them feel special. Yes, Michelle, I love that. When we are so busy, and how good does it feel when you get an email in your inbox that's something about congratulations or thank you, as opposed to please make sure you've done this on time. So that can hold a lot of weight as well. I'm seeing another lunch and recess coverage, gift bags, awesome. Jeans passes, Brandon, I'm so glad that those jeans passes are still holding some power. That's awesome. These are all great ideas. Keep them coming, please, in the chat box, because we're always looking for new ideas and how we can support you in executing that. And if you need more ideas after this meeting, feel free to reach out to me or Tori Ann, and we'll definitely help you out with some of those ideas. Thank you for sharing. It looks like Diane's put a link in there, so please click on that if that is some great ideas as well. Thanks, Diane. One of the things we get a lot of questions about this time of year is late hires. So this is an outstanding resource that's in your handout, and one that we encourage you to print out and keep close, because it's also cute. And if you print it in color, it's just going to make you happy when you glance at it. So there's that too. But teachers hired from December 3rd to February 28th are evaluated on a late hire plan in My Talent. So this means that principals will need to request a late hire plan. They often think that it's going to magically appear, and it'd be great if it did, but it doesn't. They have to request it. So you may need to remind them, if you have a late hire that falls within those dates, that they need to request that plan in My Talent. Principals have to assign a qualified mentor to the beginning teachers PDP, and you've also got to document that in your mentor program plan. So please make a note of that. Principals still have to conduct that annual training and orientation of the evaluation process that they normally do at your back to school meeting in August, but that has to happen within the first 10 days of this late hires start date, and it has to be documented in My Talent. So please make sure that that occurs as well. School administrators follow the BTSP evaluation timeline, and they have to have observation 1 completed by April 8th. And the summative is due by June 3rd. So those things are required of late hires still. Beginning teachers need to complete their self-assessment and collaborate with their mentor to create one initial PDP goal. That's all they need, is just one. So we don't have to make it complicated. And you know what, if that goal can be just stay here until June, we'd be cool with that. Just word it really fancy. Beginning teachers also need to complete the BTSP orientation and the North Carolina evaluation process training, those 2 courses that everybody has to take. We want those done within their first 10 days of hire as well. If they don't get them done, we send them emails, and then they get a little bit nervous, even though we try to be really super nice. So if you can help them get those things established before we have to start reaching out to them and sending them non-compliance notices, they always feel a lot better. And then don't forget, you as the mentor contact will need to update your mentor program plan to indicate that beginning teacher's name, their mentor. We have been emailing late hire beginning teachers and principals a copy of these expectations. So if you have anybody in your building, that should be something that they have received recently and they might receive again today. And so they should be aware of everything, but please feel free to follow up with your principal. All right, right now is a great time to think about your late hires as we just discussed. And while we know that some of you may not have any, others have a ton of teachers coming on board throughout the school year, especially in our high schools and middle schools that employ more teachers. A strong onboarding plan leads to greater satisfaction and retention of employees, which we know is really critical right now. So we're going to take a pause here for 5 minutes and give you some time to review your ongoing orientation plans. And they should be linked in component 1 and 2 of your mentor program plan. Tracy had you pull those up when you first logged on to the meeting. So if you weren't able to do that, take a second to pull up your mentor program plan now. And we want you to look through your slides and agenda and see if everything is current to use at this time to enhance anything, or you might need to make in some edits so that you can onboard some of those late hires and still use your materials. And task 3. So go ahead and list them and complete the rows for them as needed, and we'll come back together in just 5 minutes. If your component 1 is current, feel free to work on anything else in your mentor program plan at this time. So make sure your ongoing orientation presentation is linked in component 1 of your mentor program plan. Look at task 2 and task 3, your directions are on the screen. If you have any questions while this 5-minute timer is on, feel free to hit us up in the chat box and we will answer everything for you.
Maybe this plan, I thought I had taken me forever to find it. Come in. Oh,
I need to do that.
wait until our family was clean. Hey, I understand. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Got just over a minute to finish up this task. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So you will definitely have some more time to get back into your mentor program plans later this morning. If that's a task that you opened up and was like, ooh, I have a lot of changes that I need to make, and you need a little bit more time on that, just jot yourself a note where you left off. We're going to continue with some more content related to your beginning teachers and mentors. And the first thing that I want to let you know is that Mentor Flex certificates were distributed to all beginning teacher mentors on December 14th. They were emailed directly to our qualified mentors who signed their initial PDPs, and the email came from HR mail. So if you have a mentor who said, I didn't get a Flex certificate, have them just double check their email to see if they received anything from HR mail, and it was sent as an attachment. And so I am the contact if you do have any questions or need me to look up someone's certificate and resend it. And then the second certificate that they receive will come at the end of this. In addition to Mentor Flex certificates, we want to remind our mentors about the mentor logs. Mentor logs are strictly confidential to the beginning teacher and their mentor. And mentors contacts, you guys can support your mentors with the mentor logs by sending out reminders for them to complete their logs, or including some time during your beginning teacher mentor meetings for them to go right into My Talent and complete the logs during that time. So it's not an after the fact activity or task for them. And then the next thing we're going to kind of focus on is the mentor continuum. NCDPI is looking to see if mentors are evaluated annually on their mentor practice using the North Carolina Mentor Continuum, or a district approved instrument that's aligned to the North Carolina Mentor Standards. The Mentor Continuum is a tool for mentors to use to self-assess where they are in their mentoring practice and set a goal for improvement. There are 5 standards and 20 elements in the Mentor Continuum, and this is included as a survey in component 4 of your mentor program plan. So we want to kind of take you back there because we know you sent out the initial survey at the beginning of the year, but how are you using the responses or the data that you received, and how are you going to revisit this now that we're at the middle of the year? So we're going to give you some time right now to consider how you're going to use the Mentor Continuum in your school's mentor program. We're going to give you 5 minutes to think about how you're going to incorporate it into an upcoming meeting or communication. And this time is you can draft out either your slides or your messaging and begin to link your evidence into component 4 of your mentor program plan. If you've already used the mentor continuum with your mentors, make sure that the document is linked in your mentor program plan. So right now, we're going to spend about 5 minutes just looking at component 4, the survey that you have related to your mentors, looking at the responses that you received at the beginning of the year. How have you acknowledged those? How have you provided support to your mentors based on their responses? And then what's your plan for checking back in with your mentors now that we're at the middle of the year? And as you work, feel free to type any questions or ideas in the chat.
Later tonight, if you can't sleep, you can also use that timer to drift off into sleep. So thank you for introducing us to a new one. There's so many fun ones on YouTube. Hopefully you got some component 4 additions made. Again, if you need more time later, just put a comment in your plan to remind yourself. I love to tag myself in a comment, so it sends me an email too and reminds me to go back to that later. NCDPI is also looking to see that beginning teachers have additional observations with feedback to show support. So these include observations that mentors, administrators, or other colleagues are doing. Beginning teachers need the opportunity to observe other colleagues as well. So think about the structures that you have in place in your building. And if you don't have any structures yet, don't stress. Now's the perfect time to add those in. But beginning teachers should have multiple opportunities to observe their colleagues, including their mentor, co-teach with somebody if possible. We understand that it can be a logistical nightmare, but having the opportunity for something like that really helps the beginning teacher be successful. And if you've already provided the opportunity for additional observations, please make sure that you have evidence for that linked in your plan. So if there's a schedule that you set up, go ahead and put a copy of that schedule. If there's a flyer you made that put it out as an opportunity so people could take advantage of it if they wanted to, and you made it optional, throw that into your plan as some evidence as well. If you have not done any additional observations, consider ways that you can incorporate those into your practice. We also want to make sure that you're aware of our pineapple chart opportunity, because if you don't have the chance for a beginning teacher to observe somebody in your building, we do offer the opportunity for them to hop on a Zoom and observe teachers across other schools. And that's been a very powerful practice that we love a lot. And information on that is always on our website and in our newsletters, or you can contact us if that's something that you would like to set up and us to help you facilitate. Any evidence of that can go in components 3 and 4 of your plan. All right, in the chat, tell us how you have been able to offer additional observations for beginning teachers, or how you plan to make this happen. You might need 30 seconds to think about it, and that's okay. If you have an artifact in your mentor program plan, we want to hear about that too. So take a look at this screen. How do you make additional observations happen at your school? What evidence did you link in your plan? There's a part 1 and a part 2, walkthroughs. Awesome. Walkthroughs with Amy Wagner. She's one of our favorite people alive. Oh, Allison, I love that. Your admin covers classes to make this happen. It's tough lately. Yeah, it is tough lately. Abigail, I love that. Empowering and encouraging, especially those words you led with, is really, really good. You can't always make it happen, but you can definitely empower and encourage. Coverage for BTs, wonderful. Coverage for teachers to see other teachers, definitely been a challenge, for sure. Excellent. Please keep those ideas coming. Feel free to keep dropping them in the chat as something comes to you. And if there's something that you haven't done yet, but you think would be a great idea, throw that in the chat and just mark it as a possibility, because that's something that the rest of us might want to explore as well. Awesome job. All right, just a reminder that beginning teachers must have a request to coach or participate in extracurricular activities form on file with the district if they are participating in anything above and beyond their normal instructional duties. So January is usually a time when new clubs and organizations and sports are starting up, depending on your school level. If your beginning teacher is participating in any of those, great. They just have to have a copy of this on file. And this actually just shows that they understand that according to the BTSP plan for the district, which was approved by the local and state boards, so it has to be followed. It says that they understand that they're not required to do anything extra in their first 3 years of teaching, but they're welcome to if they feel like they want to. Terry, great question. Would this be used for tutoring too? If that tutoring is a structure of your school, so like an extended day or some extra responsibility, yes. If that teacher is tutoring on his or her own time off school campus and outside of school hours, then that does not need to come to us. It's just if it's a function of CMS. Great question. And when you get these filled out, just shoot them to us over email to our BT development inbox or whoever's email address you remember, and we'll get them to the right place.
Coffee. We wanted to share one more leadership opportunity for our mentors and teacher leaders. Every summer for the past, we didn't get to do it during COVID, but we did it last year and it was super awesome. And in 2019, before that, we employed teacher leaders to serve our beginning teachers through the New Teacher Institute. And so this is an amazing opportunity for mentors to take on a leadership role at the district level, and a perfect way for them to share their knowledge and expertise while supporting our beginning teachers. It also contributes to an artifact that they can use in standard 1 of the evaluation process and gives them a chance to make a little bit of extra cash at the beginning of the summer. This leadership opportunity is for mentors and mentor contacts who are classroom teachers and evaluated on the teacher evaluation rubric. And what we're doing is asking for them to create a 1-hour learning session for beginning teachers. They'll be paid for both their planning time as well as their presentation time. And that stipend they'll receive after the Institute. They'll present their session. We're offering the New Teacher Institute for Title I teachers on June 14th and for non-Title I teachers on June 15th. And they'll have a chance to facilitate the same session multiple times. So, you know, sometimes you consider like the first time their dress rehearsal, even though they have an audience, but they can make some real-time changes, and then they'll have a chance to facilitate it a second time and support beginning teachers. So we're sharing this with you now as kind of a teaser to think about, who do you have as an experienced teacher at your school that you're like, this person has great knowledge about this that would really work well for beginning teachers. Let me talk to them about this opportunity. And we're going to be sharing some more formal information in our upcoming newsletter in February. So be on the lookout for that. We'll also directly message mentor contacts as well to let you know that the application is open to share with your strong mentors. So we just wanted to share, those are our 2 themes from the past 2 New Teacher Institutes. And the theme for 2022 will be coming out soon. We're just going to pause right now and see if there are any lingering questions that did not get answered this morning. Feel free to either come off mute or drop them in the chat. And again, you can always email Renee or myself after this meeting as well. If you kind of step away from your computer and are like, oh, I should have asked this, do not hesitate to reach out to us. And if there are no questions, we're going to take a 10-minute break and we'll start back here at 9:20. Go make some coffee, go to the bathroom. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Can I ask a quick question during the break?
Sure.
Okay. So I was, okay, question number 1, if the new teacher is no longer here teaching, do they need to come off the component 1 list, or do we keep them there?
Great question. Go ahead and keep them there since they were there. If you want to just mark resigned, terminated, whatever, that'd be fine.
Okay, that's question number one. Question number two, when I got my report on compliance, there were some that said that they weren't in compliance. Is that because I need to go back and do like that PDP explanation as to why their PDP was done late, or I forgot, what is that called?
The
I forgot
record of activity, no problem.
Yes.
The record of activity. It could be, Jasmine, if you send me their names, I can look them up one by one for you and give you explicit details so we can get it all taken care of.
Okay, thanks. Because I think it's the record of of activity, but I was like trying to do all of them, but I might have missed a few, and I was like, why is this still showing up not in compliance? They did it right here in front of me, and they
That would be it if we're after a due date or something like that, and you have to go into the record, then that would be what's holding you up.
Okay, that's what I figured. Last question.
No problem.
The date for late hire is November, correct?
It depends. So tell me more about.
Okay, so what I'm asking is, I have two teachers that were hired before November, but as far as I'm concerned, they were late hire because it was kind of after I had already done my comprehensive first round, which is causing me to have to do almost like two back-to-back for these two teachers. And one of the teachers, we didn't even know for a while. I don't know if it was me and you, Renee, or if it was me and Tracy, who was trying to figure out if this teacher was even a new teacher or not. Okay. And then we kind of find it out. And now I'm like, oh my God, I still got to do their first comprehensive. So would they be considered late hire or no?
No, if they were November, they're not a late hire. So for that circumstance, they still need the full cycle of everything. So you can wait 30 days to do their first observation, and their second one, it'll come pretty back to back. And I can talk offline about how some other administrators are managing that if you need some tips on ways that they're making that fair, to the teacher.
Okay.
So if you want to talk about that, we can definitely do that.
So, but anybody hired like this next semester, second semester, they are late hires.
Correct. 100%.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great questions.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to give you just a moment to get resettled back in your seats at your computers. Then Catherine and I are going to facilitate STAR coaching conversations. So right now,
welcome back, everybody. We are ready to move into part 3 of our morning Practice Perfect strategies. We read about 2 different forms of practice using modeling and feedback. You can go to the next slide. With modeling, the why, the how, and the when are the important pieces to hold on to when you're training your mentors and how to model with their mentees. So when you think about modeling, why modeling? You want to show what something should look like. For the how, the mentor tells the mentee what they should watch for. And when, modeling in a similar situation to what the mentee encounters. Next slide. We took some time to look at the feedback steps too within the reading. And this is the sequence of what the mentors would want to follow with their mentees. So you would practice, give feedback, do over. But the important part with that is that you want to use the feedback. And this can be done multiple times. We all know the power of reflection and how it can help us grow. And for the feedback loop, it was discussed on page 117. When sharing this with the mentors and the mentees, it's important as identified in Practice Perfect to be very prompt in your feedback and to also go back to the simple things to really see that immediate change. So that was just a brief overview for you all, but we really wanted to give you time to talk in small groups about how you could use what you read for this meeting with the mentors and mentees in your buildings. So you'll have 10 minutes to get into breakout rooms, and there's a question in your packet that you'll be able to discuss, and you can record some notes of what you discussed. So how can you use what you read about with modeling and feedback with your mentors in a monthly PD to support their beginning teachers? Does everybody see that in their packet? Okay, thanks for the head nods. I appreciate it. So Tracy will go ahead and move us into breakout rooms, and you'll have 10 minutes.
Okay,
Tracy.
I'm just about there. So 10 minutes with a 30-second countdown once the time is up. There should be approximately 3 or 4 per room. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time because of the previous. I'm recreating.
You're fine, Tracy. Well, she's working on that. Just take a minute to think about the question that you see here.
All right, I hope this is looking right. Okay, here we go. 10 minutes. All right. Going.
I am so sorry. I don't know what was happening. It was progressing on my end.
Oh, no worries. It was totally fine. I just
Did it
kept
not
going with
move
it.
at all? Like what slide did it stay on?
It was just on the intro slide, so it was totally fine. Thank you, Torian. Don't
Are you
worry.
on the correct slide now?
Mhm.
Or no, I'm not even screen sharing. Am I screen sharing right now?
No, but when we ended before we went to the breakout rooms, it was perfect because it was on the question that they needed to
Okay.
write down. No worries at all.
Is it back and correct?
Thank you.
Lately, my Google Slides, if they sit idle for too long, do stupid stuff like that. And I have to take it out of presentation mode, refresh it, and put it back in. Crazy stuff.
Look at Camden. Oh my
Yeah, thank you for
goodness. Hey,
saying that.
Cam.
And
Okay, Camden has been repeating everything that we're saying.
Yes, he's definitely participating in this meeting. And then when the tunes come on during breaks, he sits here and dances.
Hi,
Oh
Camden.
my God, he's gotten so big. I haven't seen him in like a month and it's like so grown. It's big.
Yeah, so big.
Hey. Hey,
Yeah,
Cam.
I did not set a timer for this breakout room. Did somebody else?
Yeah.
no, they've got a timer. I set it in the breakout room, so it'll notify them and everything.
Perfect.
So smart.
Yeah, Torian, there was no problems with that because all the information was on that intro slide anyway, so they could just kind of follow along that way.
Or did it have like the modeling and the feedback one up?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Okay, that's a good one. Okay, good.
We are going to hop off, but this has been so good this morning, you guys. I'm glad we were able to be here for most of it. We'll see y'all later.
For coming. See you later.
All right, we've got about 6 more minutes, guys.
I was so embarrassed earlier.
Carissa, I think you rejoined, you had to join twice. So I think, guys, Carissa's actually in room 2. So apparently she got kicked out. So she had to join a different way. So I think that's why we see her there. But she's in room 2.
Thanks, Tracy. Tracy, when everyone returns, before you go to your next slide, I'll just go ahead and reference that the additional slides that weren't able to be viewed will be shared in the presentation that you're sharing tomorrow. So that way, if they want additional information or they want to use it at their schools, they'll have access.
Okay, so you'll say that before I start.
Yeah, so Torianne, if you'll just leave it on this one that's up right now, that's perfect. Thank you.
I'm closing breakout rooms. I'll have 30 seconds to get out. Okay.
Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to share ideas. This presentation will be shared with you tomorrow, and you'll have access to additional slides from Practice Perfect that were unable to be viewed due to a technology glitch that we worked through with our slides progressing. Our hope is that you'll use these slides that have already been created with your mentors for PD.
All right, thanks, Melissa.
Mhm.
All right, so let's kick off some time with our mentor program plans. You should already have that open in one of your windows from this morning. So the first thing I want to just remind you about, the due dates for your mentor program plans are in your packet. You might want to consider adding those dates to your calendar just to kind of give you a forewarning of maybe when you need to go in and start working on that, and then when they're due as providing the feedback at the end of each month. So we're just about at the halfway point for the year. These are the amounts of points that you should have in each component so far. So you're going to check your recent scores against these totals to see where you might be able to make some growth in the coming months in your program plan.
Okay.
You have had 5 months of meetings already for beginning teachers and mentors, with 2 points for each month. Keeping in mind that each month you do need to have some sort of survey, exit ticket, or ongoing way of knowing whether or not that particular session really got you where you wanted it to. Beautiful. So this is component 1, task 2. We're going to start with that one. Let's think about that. This task is ongoing orientation. Please make sure that you're including your slides and your handouts, and that you're updating anything in those slides that have changed since the beginning of the year, when you might have used this for the beginning of the year NTX orientation. Make sure that it's linked there in task 2. All right, so now let's look at component 2, task 1 and 2. So what you're going to see next is task 1, and this is literally a duplication of the language in the mentor program plan. Please ensure that you have at least 2 activities for building relationships and providing emotional support for your beginning teachers and your mentor for task 1. You're also then going to do this again for task 2 with the second quarter. Second quarter is about to end, so the end of this month, we will be looking for that as well. So you should have a total of 4 by the end of this month. Next slide. Thank you. So for some ideas that you might want, if you're thinking about, like, I'm not really sure what I can do for this one, here are some ideas. I love the idea of a song list. You can learn a lot about somebody based on the music they listen to. So maybe you can have your beginning teachers and mentors engage in creating this song list and sharing it. I also like the idea of a whodunit, where you can allow your BTs and mentors to identify something unique or special that they've done in their lifetime. Then you can add all these ideas to a slide deck and then have everyone kind of guess who done it in an upcoming meeting. If you have a really big group of mentors and beginning teachers, you may enjoy doing kind of a list of like 10 things that your mentors and beginning teachers enjoy, and then have them kind of walk around the room and see if they can find at least 10 people who have one thing in common with them. And then there's always 2 truths and a lie as well. Okay, some more ideas. Consider coffee and donuts. I've seen a number of schools do something like that, as well as little snacks and stuff. I also stole this from a school, a few of my favorite things survey, where you can do a little bit of, kind of guessing, getting some information from mentors and beginning teachers about what they enjoy, and then providing that to them in an ongoing basis over the course of the rest of the year.
Component 4, task 3 is all about the PD and support opportunities that you provide to your mentors.
Williams to McCoy.
So we have some great ways for your
Hey,
mentors.
do we have
to
enough
engage with
coverage
PD.
in the cafeteria? I have a meeting that I didn't have on my.
So you'll see some flyers here for January and February Mentor PD with Ed Connective. You can work to arrange for coverage if possible, and you can create a follow-up on how they will use the new skills to identify impact. These have both been advertised in our newsletter starting in December, and we really hope that you will utilize this to develop your mentors. With that being said, we're going to give you the next 2 minutes to sign up. You can either sign up for one session or both. And if you're a master's school, you've already had the January session, so you do not need to sign up. So in your handout, you'll see where you can click on the 2 links under the Ed Connective section. So take the next 2 minutes to sign up. You'll have some work time here in a little bit. So if you need some more time to sign up, you can go ahead and finish that up later. We are here to help with the PD and support opportunities that you are providing for your mentors. The support that mentors receive should be differentiated. So on the screen here, you'll see that there are several links to different resources that we've created over the past few months that you can use. These are ready-made items that you can take and turn into Mentor PD. You can please feel free though to reach out to us if you'd like a thought partner or if you want some help coming up with some new ideas of PD for your mentors. We definitely know from reviewing the mentor program plans that this is an area of growth in providing PD for our mentors.
So what we also know is another area of growth is component 4, task 4. And I think that a lot of this could be because when you are in your plan, in order to even see this component 4, task 4, you do have to scroll down. So if you're going, oh my gosh, I didn't know this, make sure you're reviewing your feedback notes every month, because if it's not been complete, you have been getting notes in there under the notes section beside where we're scoring them. So make sure you take a look at that. So this is the exact language again of task 4. So this is all about building a mentoring culture. There's a mentoring culture survey that you can complete. You should have really completed at the beginning of this year. If for some reason you've missed this, you might want to go ahead and get that done. The idea here is just that you can kind of see how your building is feeling about this idea of mentoring, and whether it's like I kind of have to because they told me I have to, or whether it's like as a building and as a community, we really believe in and dedicate ourselves to the support of our beginning teachers. So please make sure that you're adding incentives to this particular task each month, each quarter that you're doing with your mentors to make them feel like you really do appreciate them. So thinking about celebrating your mentors, let's talk about ways to incentivize. So you definitely guys have mad skills. Check out some of these ideas. And I guess these, and I have to say, these are also things that I have gotten out of the mentor program plans because you guys are doing such a great job. I did see in one plan, cute little snowflakes where messages were written for the cold winter nastiness that we're currently in, with some happy thoughts that you can then just put in mentors boxes if you'd like. I also love this idea of this room service kind of idea. Super cute. Created with ideas on things that your mentors like. Maybe you can do a little survey and get some information. You can create something like this, or you can have them create it in a meeting, identify some things, and then you can certainly use this to choose to take a little Coke or a Coke Zero by their classroom and leave it in their room for them at some point. So this idea of room service, I thought was really nice. Again, so these ideas both came from schools that are in our district, and they're doing this amazing work. So shout out to them. The problem is we look at so many plans every single day. I don't remember exactly who it was. If it was you, you could put a little note in the chat box and we'll go woohoo to you. So we appreciate you very, very much. Okay, so Torianne is going to spin the wheel. Last month or last meeting, we did this and did a couple spins so that we could send from BTD&S some incentives out to you guys for your mentors. So when we spin, we are going to then send whoever wins this enough incentives for every mentor in their building. So that's just kind of a little help on our end. So let's see who we've got going.
Hey.
All right, Charlotte Engineering Early College, UNCC. So we'll make a note of that. And maybe we can spin it again.
Forget, are we spinning again?
Yep. So many schools, it takes a second.
So impressive to see them all in that format.
Yay.
Providence.
Providence.
All right, I love it. And look, I would say let's maybe do one more, Melissa. What do you think?
Yes, please.
One more, last time.
Hey.
Right.
Woo.
Davidson, love it. All right. Well, guys, what we will do is we will be checking our listserv for the mentors in your building, and we will send, once we can, get some things together, we'll put it in courier to you with a little note that you can then just provide it for each of your mentors. So congratulations, guys. Okay, so now we want to move into a little bit of time for you to actually work on your mentor program plans. Based on what Melissa and myself and the rest of our team have noticed as we've been reviewing plans all along for the year, we kind of just based this whole day for the mentor program plan piece off of things that we're noticing that maybe we can put a little bit more time into. So that's kind of where this content has come from. So you've got some options here for your work time. Maybe take this time to create a game that your BTs and mentors can participate in as part of component 2. Maybe you want to go with that room service idea that I love so much. You can start thinking through that and how you might want it to work in your building. You might want to create some PD. So this might be a time that you can just start to think about how you might want to engage your beginning teachers or your mentors, remembering that component 4 is about developing your mentors around mentoring skills. and not just always having a meeting that's beginning teachers and mentors. You might also spend time creating a survey to get some a little bit of information about how you might want to celebrate people. Then the last couple of ideas might be just to review your feedback that you've been getting so far this year. Also, some of us as teammates do comments directly in your plan so that those comments come to you in an email. So you might want to resolve some comments in your plan and of course make any updates that need to be made. So these particular ideas are also in your packet so that you can kind of keep an eye on them as you work. We're going to give you about 15 minutes, which I think is a blessing, guys. One thing in a couple of the meetings that I've had recently with folks is one thing that is something that we all kind of have agreed on. If you can just get yourself up to date and up to speed, you can probably keep this plan up to date with like 10 to 15 minutes a month. But I think the hard part comes is if you get behind on stuff. So use this 15 minutes to work on some of these things on this list and kind of get up to speed. And we'll see you in about 15. Beautiful. Feel free to mute yourself and go off camera if you'd like. Michelle, do you have a question?
For task 4, for component 4, building a mentoring culture, is that how we're providing mentors with the confidence and tools to help their mentees, or is that like fun things like the room service tag, or both?
That's more how you incentivizing, how you showing your appreciation for mentors, which kind of moves directly into that whole mentor culture. We want them to feel appreciated and that they're, that they're not just doing all this hard work for nothing.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The task 3 in that same component is then the PD for the mentors.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Miss Artis, I saw your question about the room service door sign. We'll check with Tracy when she steps back.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm so sorry. I'm here, but I do not, I know it would be so fun if I did have, but I do not have an editable version. But if the person, like I said, my memory got away from me, but if the person who did this has
Okay.
an editable version and they're willing to share, if they're in the meeting, they could put it in the chat box.
All right, thank you.
We hope that time was helpful to you to just have some uninterrupted time, excuse me, to work in your mentor program plans. Thank you for all of the hard work that you are putting into those. We really appreciate it. Now we would like to hear from our master schools. We have some ladies that have joined us today and are going to be able to share about why you should visit their school. So Marisha, we'll go ahead and get started with you.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to extend the invitation for you all to hopefully attend one of our beginning teacher meetings along with our mentors. We would love to have you to visit and just see how we bring joy and professional development here, how we do things here at Sterling.
Thank you, Marisha. Paula?
Hello, I'm Paula. I am one of the mentor contacts at Metro School. We would like to, like Ms. Marisha said, invite you to our school because our school is very particular and we focus on giving support to EC staff. And so I know that all schools may have 1 or 2 EC staff, and we understand that their beginner teachers is mainly dedicated to the general ed population. So we are encouraging them to visit us to get support for your EC teachers.
Thank you, Paula. And Michelle.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle over at West Charlotte. The reason why you should come visit our program is because we are the only high school listed as a master school. So I know there are a lot of people out there who are wondering how they can help retain their beginning teachers at the high school level. We have some things planned for the upcoming months through March. So we would love to invite you to come look at that. We also have a large number of alternatively licensed staff. And so we have some unique things put in place to help onboard those teachers that have not been traditionally trained. So we would love to hear from you. Thanks.
Thank you, ladies, so much. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate all you do as a master school. So we've included the links for you in your packet to go ahead and sign up to visit a master school. And just know that when you sign up to visit, you're able to explain what you're hoping to see or what you're hoping to get. And to also be aware that if you just want some one-on-one time with a master school, it doesn't just have to be to go see one of their meetings. It could just be, I want someone to sit next to me and help me come up with some new ideas of something to do. So they will be able to work with you on the specific needs that you are wanting to learn about. So we're nearing the end of our time together. We just wanted to share that we have some afternoon opportunities. If you are a new mentor contact and you're joining us today, we always host a session from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the afternoons of our mentor contact meeting mornings. That way you can just come and be with other new mentor contacts and learn a little bit more about this. And then from 2 o'clock to 3:30 for our master schools that are current master schools, we have our PLC time together. So both of these sessions will be on the same Zoom link. So before we move into our survey and attendance, Torianne, Tracy, Renee, is there anything that we want to add? And I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat.
Nothing to add other than Melissa and Tracy. Thank you for your tremendous leadership on this level. I just want to brag on them to all of our participants and say how proud I am that they're leading so much of this work, not only in our district, but actually on the state level as well, leading a whole bunch of new incentives for mentors. And I'm just really proud of that work and that all of you are part of that. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone.
And if there was anything that you didn't get to ask this morning, or if you did ask but it didn't get answered, please do not hesitate to email any of us. We are so happy that you are here with us today.
The survey is not opening.
Let me try again, Paula. Thank you for letting me know. Try this.
it worked. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. It was so great to see everyone.